gym shoes on. Seriously.
Okay. Electric bike trailer we set up. I want to go through exactly how I did it. This trailer took us for miles. Worked great. We ended up adding this metal container to bring the weight of all the batteries lower, lowering the center of gravity so the trailer would be less tipping. We just used towing straps on all four corners, and that's it. And just some duct tape and a little bit of cardboard in the bottom to reinforce the walls. This is just one of those trays, a metal tray that you put those little propane torches under, and then a aluminum serving tray. So these are the food warming trays you can buy. That's what we repurposed this food warming tray to do. It became a low-mounted battery carrier underneath the seed spreader. After we put in the duct tape reinforcements, we wrapped the batteries in towel to get more insulation so they don't slide around or get damaged from bumps. We also wrapped them and tucked them on all sides with garbage bag to keep dust out and mud out or rain out. So these are well covered. I think we did a pretty good job. We also put 4 spare batteries into here. So we have 8 batteries here wired up, 4 in series, 2 in parallel. Or 4 series, 2 parallel. So that's 4S, 2P, which means 4 are wired in series together, and then another 4 are wired in parallel to that first series, for a total of 8 batteries. Now, each of the batteries we used were lead-acid batteries. They are 12-volt AGM SLA lead-acid batteries. They have 8 amp hours each. You can buy them at Cabela's, you can buy them online. They're very common batteries. You can buy them at a lot of hardware stores, I think. Well, maybe not hardware stores, I'm not sure on that one. You can usually buy them at Walmart. It's the same kind of batteries I use for my kayaking battery fans, for my homemade camping battery pack that I plug my fans into when I sleep in my car tent at night on camping trips. So right here you can see a red wire coming out, and here you can see a black wire coming out. Or here's the main black wire. This black wire joined the 2 different series. This red and black wire went to the bike. You can see they're all the way along here, through here, and then all the way along the trailer to the front of the bike, where they then connected to the bike's motor controller, which we mounted along the bike frame. So we have a total of 12 batteries here for a total combined amp hour offering of, okay, so the first series of 4 is 8 amp hours each, but since they're in series, those get used at once. So it became a 48-volt battery pack. Since it's 12 volts times 4, 12, 24, 36, 40, that's 48 volts in series. And then in parallel, we put another 48-volt, 4 of them. So that second group of 8 amp hour batteries added to the first group of 8 amp hour batteries for a total of 16 amp hours. So it's a 48-volt, 16 amp hour pack. But we had 4 additional batteries available just in case that wasn't enough, but we did not wire them. We thought that would be overkill, and we didn't really have time to wire anymore. So I'm going to show you guys the wiring next. I'm dismantling all of this because this was good for one trip, but we're going to actually go ahead and build a lithium-ion battery pack next. But this solution would work long term. We just don't want to necessarily have to bring this trailer to lug the batteries along. If you use a lithium battery pack, okay, so the total weight of all these batteries is like 75 pounds maybe, so it needed a sturdy trailer to pull it. With the lithium battery pack, we can get it down to like 15 pounds and maybe double the capacity. So lithium is the way to go. But this was cheap. Each 12 volt 8 amp hour battery was about $20. So for 8 of those, which is what we ended up actually wiring together, it'd be 8 times 20, $160, and you have an electric bike that can go probably like 50 or 60 miles range. That's pretty darn good. Depending on the terrain, you might not get as many miles though if you're going up hills and not helping pedal. So that's why we bought 4 extra batteries just in case. And we put those in this top bin. The bottom bin has 16 batteries. What else can I say? Lithium batteries we bought, price comparison wise, are $4 per cell. We bought 156 cells to make a 48 volt battery pack. It has 35 amp hours. This only has 16 amp hours, so it has double this. And the one problem is that costed, with shipping, $810 just to buy the cells. We bought it from like lithiumwholesaler.com or something like that. Those are still on the way. The reason it costed so much is I bought Sony VTC6 lithium batteries, which can individually output up to 30 amps continuous as long as they're cooled properly. So these are very high output cells I bought. The same cells that are in Tesla cars and Tesla Powerwalls. They're the NMC chemistry, which is lithium, nickel, manganese, cobalt oxide or something like that. I'm pretty sure that's accurate. And that is the best battery chemistry for the most stability, safest, highest energy density. It should handle about 1,000 or 1,500 charge recharge cycles. It should last around 10 years, even though over the course of that 10 years, its total capacity will start to diminish. Each cell's initial capacity is 3,000 milliamp hours or 3 amp hours. And over that 10 years, that might cut down in half. But we went super overkill with a 35 amp hour setup, which should go like 80 or 90 miles if you're not going on any crazy uphill terrain or whatever. So even 10 years later, it'll still go like 45 miles, which is amazing. So I might have gone full overkill, but I wanted to buy the best battery pack I could because that battery pack is capable of outputting like 300 amps, and the electric bike only demands 35 or 40 amps. So it's way overkill to get batteries whose cells individually output 30 amps each. But I did that because I want to use the same battery pack I'm making for my electric bike on my robot. So the robot will have all the juice it needs from that battery pack. So, and plus my dad said he would buy it because he really liked the electric bike concept, and he wants to have 2 of them in the family that people can take turns on for long bike rides when we bring our in-laws and stuff on camping trips and we do biking. So that's why he was willing to invest in batteries. He was not willing to invest in batteries for my robot, which he thinks will never happen. So it's just a bonus that I get to use it for my robot. Okay, so let's go in and look at the actual wiring now. I don't have to be too careful taking this stuff apart because this setup was just for that one trip. It was not meant to be long term. That's why we use garbage bag and towel instead of like a custom plastic box and bubble wrap or foam bedding and stuff for the batteries. That would be ideal. But this was still really good protection, I think, considering it was just for like a one-time use. I am planning to return all of these batteries. I went like 25, 30 miles an hour on this thing. No problem. I was zooming around. I even told my dad I made like a ski rope for him to hold on to. Look at this. We connected this rope to the back of the bike. Yeah. Okay, so we made this rope for the back of the bike, just like a water skier. I actually reinforced the stick with fiberglass and epoxy. And you can see, you could hold on to this while riding behind the bike. And it's about 9 feet long. And so you could hold this with one hand or put it on your handlebars, but you could just ride your bike with one hand and hold this up in the air. And you would get pulled by the electric bike. So I could tow people with this. I thought that was a really cool feature. I'm going to keep this for sure. I'm going to keep this whole trailer. By the way, within this trailer, we also put a bike pump and some bike tire repair patches. And we put some duct tape and a couple of small channel locks in case if a tire blew out to take the nuts off. So we had enough stuff to like repair a popped tire, which is good for a long bike trip, I think. Each individual battery also wrapped in paper towel to prevent it from scuffing against the battery next to it. I don't know what I think it's like I had a million videos. Okay, get in there. All right, boys. So here's how we wired it. We got one battery right here, 2 batteries, 3 batteries, 4 batteries, and you do red to black, red to black, and then this red goes to the bike, and then black to red, then this black goes to the bike. So these top ones go to the bike, but the rest are in series. So because this red goes this black, and this red goes this black, and this red goes this black, and then this red goes to the bike, that's a series connection. So these 4 in series make 48 volts. They're 12 volts each battery. And I used spade terminals, which just pop right on. You can see. And you just crimp these onto a piece of wire, which you just strip the ends of. Now, I didn't trust my crimping abilities. I don't have a crimping tool, so I just used solder. You can see there's solder right there. I just soldered the wires onto these. And the final thing was okay, so this is all connected now. It's live. I teed off of this ground wire and this red wire. I teed off right here and right here to join that to the 2 top parts of the back set of 4 batteries. So the other 4 are back here. These 2 were just spare batteries. I just tucked in the side and I put 2 more inside this top part. So these 4 are wired up in series. Those 4 are wired up in series, and then they both just combine right here and right here. So these 2 wires are coming from the other series. they combine right here to join for these big long runs. And these big long runs, I used 12. I used 12 gauge or 12 AWG silicone lipo wire, flexible silicone wire. It's rated to handle up to 200 degrees Celsius, so this wire can get really hot and still be okay. This is the type of wire they use for lipo batteries, and that's what I ran to the actual bike. So that's how you do it. Each of these are wrapped in a Christmas gift, because when they rub against one another, they can get little tiny surface imperfections, like little scratches. And I'm planning to return these. I don't want the next guy to have a bunch of little scratches. It's nice because since I didn't solder the batteries together or weld them together, they just pop right out. These little connectors can come off. So that's a good way to do it, so that you can just easily replace the batteries with new lead-acid batteries maybe a year and a half later. That's another downside of lead-acid batteries. They'll only last for maybe a year and a half or 2 years, and they'll start to dwindle in their capacity a lot quicker than lithium-ion batteries, which can last like maybe 7 or 8 years, being used as a daily driver type commuter bike. Plus, with lead-acid batteries, you have to keep them trickle charged, keep them topped off at all times. So you can't just leave this on the bike with a low charge or something. That would be really bad for the batteries. You cannot let these two terminals touch. That will short them out, so I have to be careful. One time we were taking the batteries out, and it hit this center metal pole, and they shorted, and it made a spark. You got to be careful. That happened to me once, happened to my brother-in-law once when we were setting this up, so you have to be very careful. So there's a rescued battery, ready to be polished, cleaned up really well, put back in its box, and returned. And charged up. I want to return them to the store charged, not full, but, well, no, these should be topped off actually, yeah. Charge them to full. At least like 12.4 volts or something. I'm pretty sure they're pretty topped off though. We only went like a couple miles on a full charge, so these should be at probably the perfect amount full actually. It's kind of a shame to take it apart. It looks so nice. Testing. Hi, mailbox.